Return now to those terrible events in New Zealand, and we'll speak to MAZHARUDDIN Syed Ahmed, who survived the attack in one of the mosques in Christchurch, and he's along the line for us. First of all, MAZHARUDDIN, thank you very much for staying up so late to speak to us. I can imagine the last couple of days have been confusing, exhausting, and everything else. If you feel able to, can you give us an idea what you experienced at the Linwood Mosque on Friday?
Yeah, thank you very much. It was a regular, weekly prayer. Every Friday we look forward to going to our, this one of these two mosques where we assemble, catch up with our friends, and of course our religious prayers. And at the end of the prayers, we have food fundraising collection. Like last week, we were collecting money for the fire in Nelson, and this has been a social community and sort of many things to support our, many causes there. So.
When did you realise something was wrong?
Well, when in the first minute, when we got up to pray, I was in the first row and I heard three clear gunshots over my right side because I was very near to the window. And I was pretty sure that was gunshot because there were three shots and there was small screeches. So I got frightened hearing that. I thought there is a, that roadside, and somebody must have had that rage but just within few seconds the shooter got into the main door, and there it was. A lot of people were near the door, like people who were old and elderly who were praying on the chairs, and they were the first to receive the bullets, and he shot his chin. At that moment there was a big pandemonium at the back, and people started rushing.
What did you do? What was going to, if you can remember, what was going through your head at this moment? I mean, it must have been a surreal, unbelievable what was happening.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was just in a spur of a moment. I ran at the back side of the mosque. I don't know how, but I just ran towards there, and there was a small storage area, and it has no door, but I just went in and took cover, and till then the shooter stepped into the main door and started shooting to the people, and people were falling down. He was repeatedly shooting, and I took cover, and I was able to see his shooting, and he was wearing those dirt bike helmets and a vest. I think it was like the armor vest, and he was like shooting repeatedly. There was a woman right in front of him, and she was screaming no, no, and he shot her. Then she fell down, and he shot her again. And at this moment of times, I was like on his right. I was on his left side, so he started shooting from right and came in front, and suddenly the thought came to me that now any moment he will turn left, and I was trying to think that should I run ahead or take twist, turn around, face. I mean, I was not, like I was trying to think that what should I do, and just then somebody pulled him from the back, and I didn't see that who pulled it, but he fell down, and I was still holding my cover, and he in that scuffle he lost the control of his guns. And
so somebody I'm sorry to interrupt you, just to be clear what you're saying. Somebody tried to tackle the gunman, and they managed to bring him to the ground?
Yes, there was I believe one of our companion, he was from Afghanistan. He was a refugee, and he pulled him down, brought him down, and in that scuffle he lost control of his guns, and he got up and ran outside. Then this person who pulled him down chased behind him, taking his gun. But I believe there were no bullets. I mean, he emptied all the bullets in, and that's at that moment he ran behind with the shooter's gun, but I think he couldn't operate, or nothing happened. So he ran chasing him, and then because he was ahead, I believe that he was going to the car to collect the other gun, and just then he this person threw the gun at him, yanked the gun at him, and that landed on his windscreen. And while he was picking the gun, I believe, so that scared him, and
Yes.
then he ran. So he parked the car in such a way that it was, this mosque is like, it leads to it's a small lane
Right.
which leads to this mosque. I mean, there are two properties and there's a small lane, and he parked it right blocking that lane, and in a way that he could escape. But anyway, at that moment I got up, and two of my friends right in front of me were shot. One was shot on his head very badly, like there were multiple gunshots, and his completely, like, his all on the back side of the wall was all blood splashes, and I can't tell you, it's too graphic.
I understand.
I couldn't see, he was completely in a very bad shape. And then I I first ran for his to do something to him, but I saw that he was. Then I turned towards my left to my other friend who was bleeding profusely and who was alive. Like, and then I rushed to him, seeing. I sat with him trying to see, because he wasn't, all his upper shirt, I mean shirt, was completely in blood everywhere.
So you were
I
trying to
tried
find out
figure
where the wound was?
where the wounds are. So I wanted to stop the blood, and then I was asking him, where did he get shot? Can you tell me where's the shot? Where's the bullet? Where's the bullet? So he said, I don't know. Then I was trying to stop and hold his hand, because just trying to comfort him and trying to search to do some, help. And he's kept shouting that, call the police, call the ambulance. And then that moment I got up and crossed a few dead bodies, and got out outside that. And his wife was asking me that she will get the car, and I said, okay, I'll get him. Just get the car. At that moment, the SWAT team came, and they started to take control of this place, and I screamed at them that my friend is bleeding profusely. If he's not given medical aid, he would die. They didn't let me in, but of course they were trying to secure the place, and that was their priority. And I was escorted out, and I again insisted the police officer that please let me go back. I think he needs help very much right now. We need to do something for his wounds. So they said, no, you can't go back. They are taking control of it. And I felt very bad.
I suppose they couldn't risk that there might still be somebody inside who was armed, and you might be at risk.
Exactly. I really, but my mind was not at all, and I was just thinking that I left him, and anything can happen to him. So that thought was always there for the next hour, and for the whole night I was very devastated. That did I do a mistake leaving him? I didn't help him. At least I could have been help to somebody, and but alhamdulillah, the night, 3 a.m. or early morning, we got the news that he's alive and they're doing some surgeries. He's in critical situation. That really brought a lot. So
that has been a huge relief for you. Can I ask you? Mazharuddin, can I ask you? This is an odd question. It's an inadequate question, really, but I want to try and have an understanding of whether you're starting to kind of get some sense of what happened. Can you understand in any way what can motivate somebody to have that much hate to do what they did to you and your friends and your fellow worshippers on Friday?
Look, Christchurch and New Zealand, they are so alien to any of these things. Forget gunshots, even simple quarrel is an alien news over here. This is the most peaceful place on earth. I mean, I don't know whether you've been to New Zealand. This is one of the peaceful countries in the world. It's unheard of, unimaginable. It is like, even if somebody insists saying that I've been a witness, it's difficult to believe that it's just not that place that these things could happen, And since the day I have come, this is one of the reasons I stayed here in New Zealand, that this is such a beautiful place, such a beautiful country, but everybody is so inclusive, so they're diverse, ethnic.
What do you make then of the response that there has been?
That's what I'm saying. This is amazing response. Like, had this response not been, the committee would, the whole community would have been like it would have been a very different thing now.
Yes.
I mean, we are able to collect the dead bodies, bring those flags. Amazing courage people are shown because there's so much of support from every corner. I can't tell you. I mean, this is so overwhelming for us, you know, everywhere, like people are coming and hugging us and they were weeping, crying. I mean, I couldn't understand how they are. I mean, I felt that they have felt the pain more than us. I mean, it's something like that, you know, and everywhere, like there's so many hundreds and hundreds of volunteers coming there, thousands of people bringing food, flowers. I mean, we are overwhelmed by their support, and police, everyone. So this is like somebody, it felt like that, no, this is not Christchurch or New Zealand, we are in a different place, and that's what it's happening,
And
something like that.
and
You know?
let me ask you finally then, MAZHARUDDIN, how important is it for you to be at Friday prayers again this week?
Oh, you know, it is. We don't. It's something like, you know, there like it's a must. We just can't ignore it. I mean, it is must, and it's part and part of our life. It's like how important it is to
Of
breathe. It's
course.
something like that. You
But
know?
because,
So.
particularly because of what happened this Friday.
Oh no, absolutely. I mean, one of the first thing we wanted was that to get our mosques back in action. I mean, to prayers should commence immediately, and the police, they themselves today assured us, without we sharing this, they themselves assured the police chief said today morning that we really understand that how important the mosque is for you guys, and it's our very utmost priority that we want to clear this mosque for your regular prayers. And so tomorrow morning they will be handing over the mosques, both of them. So I mean, this is like, I mean, extremely important for us in
Yes.
many ways. Like, you know, yeah.
MAZHARUDDIN, SYED AHMED, thank you very much for talking about what have been some terrible, terrible experiences for you, but also it's good to hear the encouraging news about your friends. So thank you very much for being with us on BBC News.
Thank you.